Hi everyone, so I'm going to be doing a painting and I really want to play around with mixed media for this and have fun. I've already come up with a sketch of what I want it to kind of look like. It's going to be very wintry, sort of in the mountains. If this isn't showing up well on camera, I'll just do like a screenshot on top of the image, and basically it's going to be a mountain with some like random like snowy creatures kind of like flying around it. Just something fun and cute for winter, and it's going to be for my patrons over on Patreon for the December reward. So this is going to be the postcard that you can only get on Patreon. So if you want to grab this, make sure you pledge before December and you'll receive it in the mail. So I usually sketch with my brown terracotta pencil, but since this illustration has a lot of blues in it, I want to use something that kind of matches the color scheme a little bit more. So I'm going to be using this brand new purple Prismacolor Color Erase. I don't really use these because they say erase, even though they are a little more... Oh, there's a giant spider on my wall. I'm just gonna leave it there. It's really big. Even though they're... oh, it's really distracting. I think it's what you'd call a cellar spider, so he has a really thin body and thin legs. Right, these are more erasable than regular pencils, but they still don't really erase completely. I like them because they have harder lead, they're just nice for sketching. And they have an eraser on them, so it makes me feel like more like it's a pencil and I can find it easier, sort of. So I'm putting my sketch over there. I guess they're kind of like whale creatures, but they have lots of fins on them. I've been reading up about, not really reading up, I've been like kind of into Pokemon lately because of the new game. So I'm really wanting to draw some like weird creatures. Just whatever I feel like drawing, I guess. Didn't really look quite like that. They're gonna be like very abstract sort of shapes, so some of them might not be very clearly defined and just have sort of a loose form. Okay, so this is going to be watercolor. And a spray, or maybe not. Okay, so I got some water on here. I like to wet the paper before well, it really depends on what I'm trying to do, but this one is going to be more loose and fun, so I kind of want to start with a damp surface. I'm just using Canson XL watercolor paper. I found that it's really cheap and it works pretty well for what I need because I don't do purely watercolor stuff, I do more mixed media stuff. I wouldn't recommend this if you're just doing a watercolor thing, but if you're doing mixed media, like watercolor and then stuff on top, like gouache maybe, then it's perfectly fine. I'll start with the very dark colors. Adding a little bit of green to this mountain blue color. Mountain blue, sounds like Mountain Dew. I've actually never had a Mountain Dew before. I forget that I'm going to be doing gouache over top of this, so it's okay if I cover some white areas, but it's ideal to do all you can with the watercolor before the gouache because it has a nice sort of transparent quality to it. The hairdryer is kind of small, but it still works. But it kind of smells like burning a little bit. Okay, I want a deeper blue. I love doing watercolor for sort of underpaintings because it's nice to let part of it show through in the end. or most of it. grab some pencil crayons. I like to use a more firm brush for gouache. Just trying to follow what I have in the sketch. I really felt like doing a sort of unplanned, spontaneous kind of painting and try to pull it all together and tighten it up near the end. And I hope I'm able to accomplish that. I really do. I have a bit of purple here in the sketch. That kind of helps show the planes. Trying to define these white creatures. Still trying to sort of define the mountain peaks at the bottom a little bit. I feel like with things like this, you kind of have to mess it up, and then by mess it up, I mean like literally make it messier and then like put it back together. Trying to give this one some of its features back. I think deepening some of the shadows down here could help a lot too. White gouache is just so handy to have. Highly recommend white gouache. I don't know if the pink is ruining it or not. I might try to add some details with some pencil crayon. I definitely think cropping it is gonna help. Like that. I think this just needs to be darker. I don't think the pencil really has any place in this, so I'm not gonna really use it anymore. I think it needs to be a little darker around the bottom part here. You know what? I'm gonna paint over this and I'm gonna bring it back later. At this point, I'm just seeing if I can get this to work or not. very quiet for a while because I'm really focusing. Okay, so it's been a few days. I started this just under a week ago, and I just really did not like the way it was turning out. I stopped filming and I didn't really get the courage to like revisit it until now, and now that it's been a few days, I can kind of see that it's not all terrible, and I actually do kind of like it, and I just really, I can see the areas where I need to add more details, and I actually feel like finishing it now, so I'm gonna do that. And I'm gonna use different gouache. This is acrylic gouache, which means it won't rework with when it's re-wet. Actually, I just changed my mind, I'm not gonna use that because I just realized I don't like when it dries on the palette. Okay, I'm gonna use my regular gouache. This gouache. I have my water jars, and I'm just gonna paint through this. And if it gets to a point where I don't know what else to do, I'm gonna scan it in and bring out my iPad and show you how I work on my iPad. But first I'm gonna paint it. This feels like I'm filming a whole other video, but it's the same video as before. I think I am gonna take it in digitally. I just feel like that's what I need to do with it at this point, because there's some things I want to do and it's just gonna take so long to do it with gouache, and I've been trying to mix digital and traditional more lately, so I think this would be a cool way to kind of show you how I do that. So I'm gonna scan it in, bring out my iPad, and do a drawing on the screen. You can see my hand and everything. It'll still feel like a traditional art video, and I'll show you my process for that. So I have it scanned in here, and I actually just want to bring in my digital sketch. Just gonna remove the background, just so I can kind of see where I was gonna go with it. And I might even copy some of that and bring it over, because I do like the energy that it has. So I can just bring it right over like that. And even though it's, since I'm making it bigger when I bring it over, the quality won't be as good, but I'm going to be painting over everything anyway, or at least the parts that I'm bringing over, so I will improve the quality. Since it's almost like it's just a sketch. Might as well take out the background from it now, so it saves me time later. Okay, so there was something about the sketch that I really enjoyed, so I'm gonna try to bring that over and just like use it as a point of reference from one side to the other. So I do like this blue color. I recently discovered I like the Oriental brush in Procreate, but I change it from glazed to normal. I like painting digitally because you can instantly get the color you need without having to mix it and risk it drying weird or getting muddy, so that's why I like digital. I might actually, instead of painting over the mountain, because I do want the mountain to be lighter, I'm going to select it off, just roughly, and fill it with a color, and then put it on some kind of layer mode. So maybe lighten, no, screen could work. I need to make the saturation a bit higher. I feel like it'd be better to select the drawing itself. So I'm gonna duplicate the drawing so I don't lose my my original, so I can always reference it. Don't want to make any permanent changes. Well, actually it could be a mask, but I don't really want to do that. Okay, so now I'm gonna go to hue, saturation, brightness, change the hue, make it a bit lighter. Now it's closer to that blue, and then I'm just gonna erase the part that I want to be darker. Wait, I'm not on top of it, anything. No, I keep accidentally masking that. No. Okay, let's make a new layer actually. I like to make new layers as I go because then you can kind of go back and see if what you just did made it worse or made it better. I'm debating whether or not I actually wanted to have a mouth like it had in the rough. I don't know. I kind of don't want it to. I think it would be better if it didn't. More mysterious that way, I guess. Now, do I want there to be little creatures around? Probably. Now, something I like to do a lot is to make the layer on either like overlay or lighten or something. One of those like layer modes that makes it lighter and changes the color. So I would need to add some warms into this, I think. So I have this like peachy color and I'm gonna try to add in. Okay, first let's just put this on normal because it might just work as normal. Delete it. Okay. So I'm gonna add a little bit of some of this sort of texture to some areas. Just add a little bit of warmth. Like screen kind of looks interesting. So that kind of adds some drama to it. Maybe I'll like duplicate the layer and offset it a little bit so the texture is a bit more dense. Merge it down. I'm gonna actually mask it and paint in black on the areas where I think it shouldn't be, because then that kind of erases where I had it. So the key with doing traditional and digital is to make sure that the brushes you're using aren't too digital looking on top of the traditional and trying to make the textures blend. I think it looks okay without the shadows, but I do like it with them. I think it helped bring it all together a little bit more. Okay, so I just flipped it and I think it has good movement. I just feel like it's leaning a little bit, it's skewing a little bit one way. Maybe I'll rotate this one creature. I think that's okay, and I just need to fill in what I just did. I started off being really excited about this drawing, and then I started to paint it and I started to realize this is really, like, I just can't pull this off today. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why I'm not enjoying the way it's turning out. So I took quite a few days break, came back to it, approached it in a different way by adding digital on top of it, which is something I've been wanting to explore a lot more anyway, because I think it's just kind of the best of both worlds, of the traditional and digital. Combining them has been really working for me lately, and I am overall a lot happier with this than I thought I would be. There's still some rough areas that I'm going to fix up before it is printed for Patreon. It is limited to the December pack. This also comes with limited stickers that will never be printed again, and part of my research journal pages, or my lost journal pages, which is basically just like a page that kind of looks like someone's journal of different things that they see, different places or species or types of plants or anything like that. There's a new page every month, so this page it will be related to some sort of wintry creature. I'll put it on the screen. So if you want to grab this package, it won't ever be printed again, make sure to check out my Patreon. I also have a store where you can buy pins and prints and stickers and all kinds of stuff as well. Make sure you like the video if you enjoyed it. I've never done sort of like an iPad sketch with me sort of thing, so I hope you enjoyed that too. And I'll see you in my next video.